All right. Welcome to Under the Willow Tree on the Sology One Studios network. Tonight, I have the most awesome guest ever, the woman who brought me into this beautiful world, my mother, Debbie King. And I'm Angela Willow. And we have a really fun conversation for all of you. It starts with a little bit of my background and where I came from her, but this is ultimately about her journey with her gift of empath and mediumship. But before we get started, I always like to just take a few minutes to just kind of center the energy a little bit. So we're going to take a couple of deep breaths and just kind of slow down for a minute, get present. I want to welcome. I saw my sister pop on. I saw my best friend Tara growing up pop on. We've got people here who we love deeply, and we're so happy that you came and you just know what we're about to talk about, which is super fun. We've got Halloween, Samhain, this thinned veil. Tis the season for this conversation, and this is why I've invited my mom to do this special show tonight. This is exactly what we're going to be talking about. So before we get started, we're just going to take a couple of deep breaths in and hold it. And just sigh it out. Anchoring into this beautiful Mother Earth, saying thank you to our guides, our angels, and our ancestors for being here. Mom, thank you for my life, for being my portal, my entrance into this crazy place we call Earth home.
I think she might have dropped off.
No.
It's okay. I'll stay on here with you. Hang on. We can. Oh, wait a minute. What did I do? Hang on. I think what we can do is send her a message and just tell her to click it. Just to click it again. It'll be. It'll just take a second. Because that's her signal. I look like a caveman today.
You're so good.
The camera
It's all good.
At this point,
Mom's into this technology, guys. So just hold on a sec. We're getting her back in.
Yeah, just send it. It should be all right. There's always a great show when you have technical difficulties.
Yeah. She says, "Why did I freeze?" They've got a little bit of sketchy internet up there.
Yeah,
She's
that's.
up.
Uh-huh.
So here's the myth, right? My parents are here. Let me see if I can do this I cannot do this. Here we go. My parents are here.
They're on the middle finger.
Yeah, yeah. Up at the very top. Yeah, the middle finger.
The last tab of the middle finger. Yeah, all she has to do is just click it again. She'll be all right. But if her signal is shaky, that'll be a different issue. And that's probably what happened. But once she catches it, it might stick. Let's see. She won't have to fill her name in and all that. She'll just. It's 4:20. 4:20. 4 minutes and 20 seconds went by. Let's see. So yeah, so you're gonna have your mom on. I didn't know your mom was a psychic.
My mom.
Well, there she is. Hang on.
Yep.
Here we go. Getting her back. Getting her on here. Boom.
Get her.
We got her. There she is.
We got her. I lit the stage and you came on. No joke, Ma.
There you go.
Here we go. No interference. Here we go. Nice. We're just gonna let this energy ride us out. Anyways, I was just in the middle of thanking you for my life, for being my mama and bringing me in here and giving me the scariest childhood I could ever imagine. Um, so I'll
Excuse
give
me.
you, I'm gonna just give a little intro real quick for you.
Okay.
Um, so this is Deb King, and so you
Mhm.
hear ghost stories and stuff when you're a kid around the campfire and all that. Well, my mom used to do that to us while we were camping, except all her stories were real and they all happened to her. And these are her experiences. And so we're going to take you on a little journey tonight. And this journey is, you know, how she started as a child being contacted by spirits from the other side in a family who was Catholic. This is a very popular story that a lot of you who are watching understand and can feel through. So no guidance, no understanding why she's different, weird, whatever it felt like to her, and the encounters that she was having unexplainable, and just really not having the guidance there to help her with it. But it's led her to who she is today, which is the gist of this show, is how she's developed now and the journey she's been on. So yeah, growing up was really, really interesting. Our home was very, very active. And it's funny because years later down the road, my sister officially was like, Mom, you're the freaking portal. It's you. Everywhere you go, there's going to be interaction. Like my sister just called it one day. We were like, yep, we know this is the case. So I used to take these stories to my girlfriend's sleepovers and scare them all. And they loved it, and they still talk about it till this day. So a couple of my friends were really excited to participate in this show and to watch it. So I hope you guys do. I hope you guys get to see us talk about this tonight. But Mom, I'm gonna go ahead and let you share what you want to share and tell us about being a child with this gift.
Okay. Well, it was pretty scary most of the time. I had things happening that I could see. There was like fingers that were on the side of the bed that were really freaky, and I can remember that at a very early age, to which I found out later in life were fingers of knowledge. So I think some of what I thought was scary at the beginning wasn't. It was there to help me, but mostly it was very terrifying for the most part. A lot of people will say, "Oh, I wish I had that gift." You really don't, because um, it's just a life of terror until you understand what you're supposed to do. And I could hear the footsteps. I could see full apparitions. Um, they bothered me nonstop when I was a child, so much so that I was falling asleep at school, and it did eventually make me sick. And I was taken to a psychiatrist, just all kinds of different things until finally my brother, because when I'd have this one, I call her a witch, a lady, whoever she was, um, and would walk in the hallways, and she'd always walk really, really fast. And when she got to me, she would slam my body on the bed several times. And this was done every night. And I would always scream for my mom, but when I knew she was coming, I was so frightened that I couldn't scream. I I just kept telling myself, just be as quiet as you can be and act like you're not alive. And she'll leave you alone. That's in a child's mind. And it never it never stopped. And usually I would, when I'd hear her coming, after she'd do her thing with me, and then I'd run to my mom or I'd scream for my mom. My mom wasn't getting any sleep. So my brother decided to cut a hole in the wall from my bedroom to my mother's and open up the sliding doors. And that one thing that he did for me stopped the activity so that I could at least get sleep until I learned how to protect myself. But that was later in life. So that's basically um, my childhood, living in
So,
fear.
hmm. So this would be a good segue for you to tell the neighborhood favorite story of the estates.
Okay. Well, my girlfriend and I were 9 years old, and we rode our bikes up into the estates. This was a place. It's very real. It's in off of Lake Angeles Road, and in the estates were always the very wealthy people. And and being a young girl, because we were always told not to go there, we were curious. It's like, what is up there? So we rode our bikes and we went up in there, and we were drawn to this really old house. And we put our bikes down and we were doing what kids do, looking in the windows. And all of a sudden, we heard a window squeak open. And when we looked up, we saw a woman with white hair, a beautiful sleeveless, long, sparkly gown, and long curls. And she said to us,
Oh no, mom dropped out again.
She'll come back. I didn't know this about your mom.
Yeah,
It's just wild.
yeah. Her stories are amazing, and what she's doing now is amazing.
So
I just,
she thought these. So this, wow, this is wild. Did she ever figure out what the connection was
to,
to all these activity around her?
she's a medium.
Oh, okay. Let's
there
continue.
we
Yes.
go. There we
Mama,
go.
hey ma,
Um,
hold
I'll
your phone up a little. Hold your phone up a little higher so we can see your face. Just a little bit,
okay.
if you can. There you go. Thanks.
That's better.
It's if it's comfortable. If you're I understand if your arm
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
tired.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay,
Why am I keep going over too far
Just
there?
set it down the
Okay,
way it was.
there.
It's fine.
there you go.
Okay. So anyways, we couldn't find her dog. So Brenda started crying and she said, I can't find Queenie. And so we started looking for her, and we were looking in a garage that was right next to the house. And I, I, I swear by my life, and she can testify because she was there. There was the same um, timeline that woman had the clothes on. The vehicles in that garage were the same timeline. the old Model T Ford cars, and we're like, oh my gosh. And so it didn't make a lot of sense to us. Then all of a sudden, Queenie showed up and we ran and we left our bikes and we ran all the way down to the bus stop. And I remember holding my friend, both of us holding each other and crying and saying, no one's ever going to believe us. No one's going to believe our story. And so, this is bothering me. There. I wish my face wasn't floating around. um, anyways, we had to go back. We knew we had to go back and get our bikes. And so when we went back, we knew the caretaker who was working there. And we ran up to Wally and we told him, you know, what happened and that we were coming back for our bikes. And Wally said, girls, there's nobody who lives in that house. And we're like, yes, that woman said hello to us. And so he took us over there and he said, look in the windows. There was nothing. There was nothing there. There wasn't, because when we looked in the windows, there was furniture. There was the Model T Fords in the garage, everything. It was like we stepped back in time for a short period, some kind of portal that we entered where she was at. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the combination of my friend and I think we both have a gift, and that boosted us into that portal.
Wow.
So that's that story. And another experience I had was when I was up at my auntie's, and she had an old captain's house, and I could feel that there was somebody there always when I was a kid, but I never knew, you know, why I felt that or any rhyme or reason. And it was really huge at the front of her captain's house. It had all windows, and two great big beds were in there. The same vanity, the same furniture was there from when the captain had lived there like centuries ago. And my auntie left everything the same. And when I went to the vanity because I was curious as a kid, pulled out the chair, sat down, and all of the brushes, the mirrors, the lipstick, the compact with the powder, everything was left there that was the woman's. And my mom never, and my aunt or my mom never told me not to touch it, you know, that to just leave it be. But that woman, of course, had crossed over years ago. And as I was playing like a little girl with makeup and lipstick and brushing my hair with her brush, because of being an empath and feeling all of the sensations of this woman, I think that's why I was able to see her. And I was frozen when she said, put down my stuff. I turned to the left and saw her and ran. Not all of Earthbounds show themselves fully. I have seen them when they want to show themselves fully, but she was all like a white glow. And I could see details of the image of her in her dress, and that's all I needed to see. And I ran down the stairs, and from that day on, I never ever got uh to where I could go upstairs by myself. I would lay at my mom's feet as she played cards until she would go up there by herself, with me. I'm not used to talking just myself. There was another story that you wanted me to tell in um I can't remember which story that was, Angie.
That's great.
Oh,
Grandma's
the
altar. Altar.
the one with the altar. So my grandfather passed away, and that was a bedroom he used, and he made an altar. He used to be a priest at one time, and he made an altar with Jesus and candles, holy water, and all the other Catholic figurines that they would have on an altar. And there was a candle on there. And before you would pray, you would light the candle. And I would say I was maybe 8 years old, a little bit younger than um, when Brenda and I went up in the Estates. And my niece and I noticed that when I'd light the candle, that you could see Jesus in the background, and then the candle would flicker, and the shadow would flicker, and then my grandfather would appear, and he would be praying. And he was like a black shadow, like the candle was showing of Jesus. And so I thought that was really neat. So I invited some of my neighborhood friends to come over with a charge of a quarter to see my grandpa. And I would light the candle, and same thing would happen, and there would be my grandpa, and that stopped after my mom walked in and saw what I was doing. So
You were
um
hustling.
I was hustling.
It was like an attraction.
It was. It was an attraction. Absolutely.
It's probably where I get my good
um
sales ability from.
exactly. This uh gift that I can say gift now that I'm older, most of the time I ran away from it. I also had an experience with a full operation when the same friend that we went up in the Estates with, her brother was killed in a car accident, and I would always go stay with her at night because her parents would stay out late, and she was afraid because it was up on a hill. This place actually exists still in Auburn Hills, and she, a lot of the teenagers and stuff would come up there, and she was just afraid to be alone. So this one night, that I was staying with her, we were in bed, and I just had this funny sensation. And we thought maybe it was her parents, and we could hear a car drive up. We saw the headlights, we heard the car, and we heard the doorknob turn. And anyways, um so Anyways, we heard the footsteps and they came walking around the house, walking towards the hallway, and we thought it was her parents. And now this is a guy that always teased us to the point of when it wasn't funny anymore, to where you would cry. So Jimmy kind of left that imprint on us that, you know, we were really sad that he was gone. At the same point, we were relieved we didn't have to be teased to death as kids. And there he was. After the footsteps stopped, he was standing right there in front of the bedroom, and he had a vacant look in his face. He was a full apparition with clothing and everything. And neither one of us could breathe. He stood there for a while. We asked him what he wanted, and he just kept looking out in the distance and then turning around and walking into where was his bedroom. And my friend, of course, was crying really, really hard. And we finally got the guts up to go see if he was in the bedroom, and he wasn't. To be quite honest, now that I think about it, because he was such a tease, I think he wanted to tease us one last time. And he did. Scared us to death. But that was one of my other apparitions. I just have my mind has so many experiences. I'm trying to think of all of them. Some of them were not full apparitions. They were when I was starting to be told that I had this gift, and they would always talk in the right ear, and it was just like a whispering, heavy, which didn't sound like anything. And I jump out of bed when I was a kid, and I'd always run into where whoever was there, and scare the life out of them. I did a lot of sleepwalking when I was a child. I remember visiting with earthbounds and spirits that were in the house. I used to, when my mom would leave me alone, I would always rock in the chair because I could feel them gathering around me. Some were good, some were not good. And I was so afraid that I would rock in the chair and I would sing, and in my mind, uh I felt like that was helping. What I didn't know is singing was a grounding mechanism, and it was showing love, and whatever was negative around me was dissipating because I was singing and I was happy. And I didn't know I was protecting myself at that time with that. Uh, as I've gotten older, I haven't had as many apparitions, but when I did move into this home, I saw a full bodied apparition. And sorry, Angie, I don't know why
You're
this is
fine.
doing that. Okay.
We can hear you.
But anyway, okay. But anyways, there's this guy standing at the front, the end of my bed. And he's in a flannel shirt and jeans, tiny little man. And I still do the same thing when I see an apparition. Um, it's a sound that I do that sounds like somebody's letting the air out of a tire. Um, you're so frightened that you just go with it. And then you ask, what do you want? Usually, and he did the same thing as Jimmy. He was just staring, and he's never come back. I never found out why he came, and maybe he just wanted to see. This was a newer home. Maybe the property, maybe he had a farm here or something, and he just wanted to see, who was living in here, and just wanted to introduce himself. I really don't know why I see the things I do. I don't always get that, but now I no longer have the whispers. When I was 50 years old, I delved into my spirituality. And because I was going crazy with everything around me, and I didn't want to, the people I was talking to thought I was crazy. And that's usually, what people think if they don't understand. Um, but what I found out was the more I tuned in instead of running away, the more I could tune in. And the more I learned from Chip Coffee how to be strong and state, whatever, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that. I'm in charge. You're not going to ruin my life anymore. I had an incident at my eldest daughter's home, Alicia Booth's, and I hadn't had an experience like this, and Angela was involved as well for a very long time since uh, I was a child. But I felt this overwhelming fear, and I felt that this woman that was in the home did not like me and was wondering why I was there and was really angry that I was there. Uh, the one night she kind of just looked at me, but the second night she came in really strong. And and Earthbounds do this to you if they have the capabilities. And she took all of my energy out of me, every bit of it. And I was in the fetal position, very scared, whimpering like I used to when I was a kid. And they had this program on, and I hadn't told my daughter yet because I didn't want her to be afraid. And it was called Psychic Kids, and Chip Coffee was talking to these kids and working with people and children that had gifts. Well, basically I was a child because I didn't know how to use mine or protect myself or um you know that I had boundaries and that I could set those boundaries so that I could live a normal life like everyone else, and use my gift when I wanted to, and not just this barging in every now and again. And that really, really did help me a lot. And as I read more from other psychics, other mediums, I educated myself for about 20 years, just reading everything I could set my hands on. Sylvia Brown, just different famous, psychics, and not so much famous psychics. I just needed to hear that I wasn't crazy and that I could actually um, use my gift to help people. And there was an experience I had, and this is what I'm going to bring in with, the clarity of ear. I was at Mount Hope Church, and we were going through the different stages of the cross. And each stage I would cry because that's what I saw from my mother, who was Catholic. She would cry on Good Friday from 12 to 3, and she would scrub the floor, and she did not talk to her family from 12 to 3 on Good Friday. This was in my mind. This is what I'm supposed to do. So when the minister would go through the stages, I would cry through each stage. Well, you can imagine I was a mess. And then we'd have communion. And when we went up, I went up to get my received communion. I heard in my right ear, as loud can be, "Woman, why do you weep?" And it really startled me because I never heard a clear voice. That was Jesus opening up that ear path for me. I never cried again. I looked at things differently. And I then could start hearing my spirit guide's voice. Then I didn't need books. I didn't need advice from other people. My guide, my beautiful guide, and my beautiful angels guides me with my everyday life as well as guides me when I do a butterfly for people. I'm like, after I retired, I said, God, I
Ma?
don't know what I'm supposed to do now. Are you done? Is it done?
No, no, no. You're
Okay.
good. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry to interrupt you really quick. I'm just gonna do you're this is an awesome segue, and I'm gonna pop you right back what you're about to go into as you're speeding
Okay.
up. I want to say something really, really quick and really important at this moment. And
Okay.
this is that I felt really, really blessed. And I didn't know this until years later that you being my mom, that you were, and the experiences that you went through. And then when you realized, when you were soul searching and looking for a bigger, more expanded path, and you found the Native American teachings through your friend at that time who guided you to that, you broke away from the churches. I remember growing up and you were dragging us from church to church and you were looking for answers and you were on this search. So, what I hear many of my generation doing, how they're breaking away from churches and stuff, my mother did that for me. My mother paved my spiritual way. My mother went in and broke away from this certain idea of how we needed to be. And you started researching and opening up. And I remember before you left the church, you were teaching class
Mm-hmm.
and you were teaching children how to wrap themselves in white light of protection. And the church got pissed that
The
you were
church got
teaching
mad
them.
at me. And so
Yes,
I
that you,
left the church.
yes. So
And
you,
I could no longer do, I call it a repeated of repeat of repeat, because they do the same thing for Easter, the same thing for Good Friday. And Jesus is telling me something else in my ear. My spirit guide is telling me there's more, there's more, there's more. And I just didn't feel at home in church anymore. So go ahead. And
yeah.
it was after that Jesus had said, "Woman, why do you weep?" That I said to myself, I'm not doing, this isn't right. This isn't what I'm, supposed to be doing. Um, it's about the life, not the what he went through on the cross. It's about doing an example of what Jesus did, and I do believe that I'm um really connected to Jesus with my butterflies. And the butterflies just came about. I was shown the pictures, the different colors that I was going to be doing, not knowing that I was going to be doing butterflies for people, not knowing that I was going to do actual readings, that I could actually tap into the person, their loved one that had crossed. It's been mind boggling how my gift has grown since I quit running. And my guide has calmed me down and said, "You're fine. This is what you're going to do. And this is a way that Jesus needs helpers with people who cannot go on with their lives because of a loved one. Not all people need me. It's the people who cannot move forward that I help. Those are the people that are raw. Maybe their loved one has been gone for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and they're still raw like when they first died. Those are the people that I help and
Mm,
heal. And it's like, wow, I could finally feel like I could actually help people and not feel like I had to run for myself anymore. All the bad, horrible things that happened as a child kind of went by the wayside. And then, with the help, you're going to think I'm crazy now, but I have help from fairies. I have help
nobody
from
here, man.
harmony, from
Nobody
harmony
here thinks
spirit.
you're crazy.
Um, harmony spirits help me, and they're helping me now with these words. And when I go outside, I connect to every living thing, whether it be flowers, grass, the earth, everything. And dragonflies are, something that is my animal spirit that protects me. But in the same breath, I can feel them. And now, instead of feeling afraid, because I could feel them when I was young, I feel really, really calm, like they're calming me down right now. And I have time with my asthma that I don't have clarity of my mind. And I have I'll say, okay, I'm not remembering this or something. My guide will help me with my everyday life to think, to remember, you need to do this, you need to do that. It's 10 o'clock, you need to take your medicine. I get all those cues for my
Mm.
everyday life from my guide as well as for other people. I have shopping angels now. I put out there, this is what I'm looking for. And when I go, and I swear to God, I'll be drawn right to that thing. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Exactly. I'll describe it and there it will be. And it's like, call me crazy, but I love to shop. And I like to go to TJ Maxx a lot, and I just put out there what I'm looking for, and they help me shop. I use the travel angels for. traveling. If we know that we're going to travel, I ask for the travel angels to open that path up and to be with us while we're traveling, while we're there, and when we come home. Same thing happens when my kids, I know my kids are coming and they're on the road and they let me know, okay, mom, we're heading up. I send the travel angels out and they bring my children to me unharmed. And I guess what I'm getting to now is I
Cute
learned
Hobbit
my
house.
tools.
The other side. Thanks, Todd.
I am
I
feeling
learned
called
my
to.
tools.
Yeah. So I
Okay,
believe I
somebody else
will.
is
I'm
talking.
just
Dad, we're hearing something else. Okay, it's done.
Okay. Um, I learned how to use my tools, and that came maybe after I moved up here 17 years ago. The more I connected with the earth, the more I wasn't surrounded by a lot of people to interfere with what was going in here, with guiding me. Um, I then was taught how to use my tools. And everybody has these tools. You don't have to have a gift to use these tools. Surrounding yourself with a white light is one of them. Surrounding your car with a white light. Um, Anything that you want protected. There's different lights for different things. And I know that you all probably know that. And you use a green light for healing if you're praying for somebody that needs the healing. Purple light for protection. Um, I do I did learn through my gift and through my guide that when you need to pray for somebody that may just need a miracle, there are ways to pray to the White Council, and the White Council are the ones who decide if this miracle is to take place or not. I see the other side clearly. That's why I'm able to see their loved ones clearly. So when I see the other side, I also see what's there. Um, Basically, all my job is I'm in one department, and what Empath Debbie does is help people who cannot function with a loss, and I do help people after they have their questions. I do work with people for a while until they're comfortable with knowing that life continues. There's no ending. We cross into the next life. And so what I tell people is your loved one hasn't died. They've just moved to a different dimension. Your loved one will be in contact with you. Your loved one will use smells that you're familiar with. They will use something that you can definitely know this. That them. My mother was in contact a day ago, and a little tiny mouse that sat up on this little seesaw, which the seesaw stayed there, but that little tiny mouse got knocked off and went onto the floor. I picked up that little mouse and immediately I said, "Hi, Mom." They just want you to know that they are there and that you don't forget them. And mostly, uh, don't, if there's anyone listening that is having trouble with, just losing somebody that you really love, please don't cry too long because it upsets them on the other side. Please give them a respectable honor and try to pull yourself together after a respectable time. If you can't do that, um, my daughter is in contact with me. I can't get overloaded, but I do help people that are struggling, and if they need to hear from their loved one, I can do that for them. But most of the time, most generally, what people ask is, are they all right? Absolutely, they are. Because we do the same things on the other side, different jobs, different helping, but we are going to a beautiful place, more beautiful than this, and it's surrounded by love. You constantly feel that love and that peace. That's what I connect into, is that pure love with that surrounds them every single day. And they want their loved ones to know, I'm happy. I'm good. I'm with you when I need to be. If there's a touch on the shoulder, a touch on the head, my mother likes to play with my curls. Um, there's different ways that they communicate. As we age, the veil gets thinner. And as that veil gets thinner, we're able to connect more with our loved ones until eventually we can see them and then we can cross to them. Um, I really don't know what more to add. Uh, it's
That's
taken me
beautiful.
years and years and years to get here. Uh, I don't know. I'm happy where I'm at. And I have a backlog of butterflies that I need to do, which I'm going to get back into this winter because there's people waiting to hear from their loved ones that are struggling. And right now I'm working with another psychic that was like me, that ran and ran and ran from it. And after a while they'll just you can't run from it because the experiences just keep getting bigger and bigger and more and more and more because you're being told, wake up, we need you, we need you to help. And so he's been freaked out quite a bit. And so I've been working with him, with teaching him how to use his tools and being comfortable in his own body, because at first you just aren't. It's nothing that you're comfortable with. What I was telling my daughter the other night, Angie, was from what I've researched and found out is people who have gifts usually have some kind of traumatic birth. I did, and my daughter Angie did. Um, the rest of my births were my firstborn, Alicia. She has healing hands. She has the healing ability that comes through her hands. And she didn't so much have a traumatic, but it was long. It was a long birth. And my son Christopher, who It's kind of put it on the back burner for now. It's not time for him to be active in it, but is very, very has a lot of sensitivities and um maybe is it okay if I talk about the dark side just a little bit?
Well, what I'd like to do is I'm getting bits and pieces of your butterflies. I just wanted
Okay.
to, what I wanted to say is what my mom does is she is a water colorist. She's an
Ah,
artist and she
I didn't used
creates.
to be though. That's a miracle. I didn't used to be. I knew nothing about watercolor or anything about it. It was all given to me to do my job.
Wow. And
Um,
what do you
so
call the
I
piece, Mom? What do you call that? There's a name you have
well
for it.
some people like I'm gonna mention a name now, a famous psychic you can see her on the travel channel on Discovery or whatever you have. Her name is Cindy Kaza, and Cindy does to where she does the automatic writing, and this is the only way I can explain it. That's how she does her readings. When I'm sketching this butterfly, that's when everything comes to me. Like, I won't even know these people. I sit down, I'm shown what butterfly to do from the loved one. The loved one picks this out for their loved one and to bring them a message. And the particular butterfly that they pick, that person knows it's from them because it has symbols in it. I've had butterflies with symbols drawn in. It's like that. It's like that automatic writing. And sometimes when I do with the watercolor, um, angels will appear. I have angels that come through. I have fairies, whatever uh the message is, I'll have like maybe a picture of something that happened in their life. Um there's just so many things, and that's the only way I can explain it is from the time of sketching to the picture when it's done. It's like automatic writing that
Mhm.
Cindy Kaza does. So I think it's like it's one more thing that I can do besides the readings and
Mhm.
besides uh hearing, because the spirits talk to me in my ear. It's right, and it's always the right ear, the same ear that Jesus talked to me in.
Mm. You have a name for the gift though. It's a gift to hold or a hand to hold. What it's about being like a tangible gift. What is it that you call this painting though for the grief?
When when I do the reading and what I put inside the butterfly, I said because, and this is was given to me to say, this is something because I usually do them. Sometimes I do bigger ones, but this is something to hold in your hand because when our loved one leaves, that's what we miss the most is we can't touch them. We can't
Mm.
talk to them. I can, but we can't give them a hug. And um it's something to hold into your hand until we're together again. That's the
Mm.
phrase that I
That's what I was
use.
looking for. Yeah. You.
And so if they get upset, they can take that butterfly I did for them and they can hold it, they can hug it, and they can see for themselves that their loved one came through me and gave them a gift. one last gift to hold them over until they embrace again.
Hold them over.
Hold them over.
I love you. Mom, I want to real quick. Can I read? We've got some
Okay.
comments here. I want you to hear these. So, we have,
I'm, I want
Kylie.
to apologize for the storytelling because I I'm a little bit new at this, and it was a little bit not as scary as I usually do.
I know she's a really
Um,
magnificent storyteller. And she gets really into it, but you've done a great
and
job. You've done a wonderful job.
okay,
And thank you for sharing your voice. Mom does not participate in social media any longer. She had to protect her energy, and so she
thank
stays
you.
off.
Yes,
So she doesn't do a lot of technology. Mom is literally the crone in the woods. That is my mother. She's
yes.
up in the woods. She's with her fairies. And she lives her best life. So this, yes, you've done beautiful, Mom. Okay, I want to just read these comments. So you have
Okay.
Kylie Walter, great to be live with you. Cara Morris, thank you, sisters. Lauren says hello. Alicia
Hi,
says hi,
Lauren. I love you.
Mom. Let's see, we've got Mary Hearts, and then Kylie says, your experiences have been amazing, Deb. A lot of my childhood was spent under the covers at night, and they scared me, and now I'm in awe of them. So she's had a similar experience as you of working through
Experience.
that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
And then our brother Todd Medina says, amazing stories, life, and lady. And then
Thank
we
you,
have
Todd.
Elaine says, thank you for being there for them. Love. Um, Dawn says, beautiful, straight up, fucking A, true. I'm not alone. One love. Namaste. I knew you would get a kick out of that one.
Oh,
I'm not.
I'm so glad. No, you're not alone, honey. None of you kids are alone.
And then Kylie says, I love the fairies. No craziness here. Your
I
your
see them too.
nephew, your great nephew, Richard is on. He says, I love you, Aunt Deb.
I love you, Richard.
Tara,
Congrats, and I love you so much.
Tara, my baby's
Hi,
on.
Tara. I love you.
She says, love your stories. And then we have Anna Toothman, who gave you a heart smiley face. So you have beautiful
Oh, I guess that. Ash, I don't know how to.
the heart. She's hearting somewhere for all of you.
Yes.
So, Ma, if you do something for us real quick with
Okay.
your device, above your head is an example of your watercolor. Can you hold up right above your head? I could see part of your butterfly.
Okay. Let me see that. Stand
Or
up.
you can turn around and you can show them your piece. It's right there. If you raise it up, just
I think
almost
oh God, I need help. I'm trying to get this butter. Oh, I had it.
right.
That's the best I can do.
That's beautiful, Ma. So that's Mom's watercoloring. And all
I'm way
inside
better than that now.
all inside of the details is where she will just kind of like she is the best tea leaf reader too, by the way, you guys. Like, she's got the best imagination, and she gets visions and pictures out of all these little tea leaves. It reminds me, she'll go through her painting when it's all done, and she'll point out, do you see the angels? Do you see Jesus? It's right there. There's Jesus. Do you see this? Do you see that? And then she's got my dad's in there looking at it. My dad's finding stuff. Like, we're all looking at her her paintings and seeing the messages. And I remember you sharing with me that you feel that spirit chose water with you because the spirits are able to amplify and move the water the way that they want on the canvas.
I
I
think
thought that was
you
cool.
did. And I'm thinking of my sister-in-law, Lisa. I actually dropped the brush and went like this. Go ahead, Mary, do your thing. And she painted the part that she wanted painted. And it
Mm,
just happened. What with spirit, they can move things. So they can move water. And I think that's why they can move the paint. They can, why that works that
yeah,
way.
that's beautiful.
And it's just each butterfly I do is takes me on a different journey. And the other thing that you talked about the tea leaves, what I'm able to do, that's along with my gift is after the card or the canvas is done, then I can see the different things that are in the picture, like Angie says, and then that helps me. As I say, I'm guided all the way, and it helps me to do the reading for that person.
Mm. So good. So we move from a really scared little girl to a
Yes.
woman who knows answers to this beautiful woman who has developed her gift, who knows how to protect herself, who's teaching her children, her grandchildren. Her grandchildren look up to her in the spirituality. They go up, they take trips up north to be with grandma. They talk about spirit stuff. And so
Mm-hmm.
our is really blessed that my mother was a brave, we'll call her a wounded healer. She went through all her own big journey to get where she's at now. And, I'm really proud of you too. And it's not been, having you move all the way to the tip top of the mitt was hard on me. I'm the baby of the family. It's
You're
been
the
really hard,
baby. Yeah.
but I understand. I understand why you've had to go deep in the woods, why you've had to protect yourself, why you've done what you've done. And, you know, I'm really grateful for all of it at this point. And it's really interesting because my life now opening up with caretaking with grief, people in grief, becoming an end of life doula,
Yes.
it's being passed down to me,
Yes.
but we're different. We've got our own like fingerprint, we're
Yeah.
our own unique
Oh yeah.
expression.
Oh yeah. God uses you for, you have a different way that you work. Everybody has something different that they work because God in your God center, you're always connected to God, and God sees what you be good at. So that's where you go. And this gift was handed down to me from my grandmother. I'd like to pay her respect, Evelyn Borden, and my
Mm,
mother, Rita Marie.
mm, yes.
Both it runs in the female side of our family, and there too. I passed it to my children, and I am so glad that people nowadays accept us. There's still so many people that don't, but that's okay. It's all right. Everybody's where they're at and where they should be. Um, but up here, I get peace and I get constant rejuvenation by the birds and everything that um talks to me and re-energizes me.
Hmm.
Our hummingbirds, you're gonna laugh. Our hummingbirds told us goodbye before they left. They went to the back door, and you can say what you want, but they will communicate with you just like anyone else.
Oh
And
yeah.
I do better with being social with people that I don't know very well, unless unless it's people that I've known for a really long time, that I can take a breath and they accept me for who I am.
Yeah. Well, we all accept you for who you are, and we love you
That's all I
deeply.
have to
Yeah, that's perfect. And
say.
it's just on time. Thank you, Ma, for being on my show
Okay.
under the willow
Thank you
tree.
for having me.
Yes, it's been so great. And it's just a fun time as we're stepping into the Halloween season, and
Yes.
it was perfect.
Yes.
Thank you for being brave, getting in front of the camera, allowing me to have you on social media. So we did go live.
We finally
Can
got
I
it
just say
done.
something?
It
Yes,
took
go
us
ahead,
a
Todd.
while. Thank you,
That I
Todd.
think we've done about 6,000 video productions. We've done like I would say probably almost I don't know, like 4,800 talk show productions, and this is one of the best we've ever done. So
Wow.
thank you very much.
Oh, thank
I hope I get to meet you someday.
I hope you
I'd
do
like to get
too.
to meet you too. I would love to meet you. Thank you very much
Oh,
for that. Thank you very
wow.
much.
And I want to just read her the last two comments on here. First of all, your daughter, Alicia, said, "Great job, Mama. So proud of you." Dawn
Hi,
said,
Ellie.
Dawn said the only place Jesus couldn't perform miracles is in his own hometown. Thank you, love, light, and blessings. Kylie said again,
Thank
thank you
you.
for sharing your world with us. And she said, love you guys. We love you too. And thank you guys for
We
all
love
showing
you
up
too.
to support this beautiful woman, my mom. And have a great, great
Thank
night.
you.